Ethan Cole had chosen the mountains because they asked nothing of him. No questions, no past, just long winters, honest work, and silence that healed in ways cities never could. His cabin sat alone on a ridge, wrapped in pine and fog, the nearest town nearly an hour away by a rough dirt road. That morning something felt wrong. Ethan stepped outside with a mug of coffee, the cold air biting through his jacket. The forest was too quiet. No birds, no wind. His eyes drifted upward, following a shadow that didn't belong. His breath caught. Hanging from the edge of his cabin roof was a woman. She was suspended awkwardly by ropes tied to the beams, her blonde hair tangled and dirty, her body limp but still. For a split second, Ethan couldn't move. His mind rejected what his eyes were seeing, insisting it had to be some cruel trick of the light. Then she stirred just slightly. "Hey!" he shouted, dropping the mug as it shattered on the porch. He ran forward, heart hammering, grabbing the ladder he kept by the wall. As he climbed, he saw more details: bruises on her arms, torn sleeves, dried mud on her boots. She was alive, but barely. And then he saw it. Nalakersus, no words, burned deep into a wooden plank nailed near the ropes, dark and deliberate, as if meant to be seen by whoever found her. Apache Lover. Ethan's jaw tightened. This wasn't an accident, this was a message. He reached her and cut the ropes without hesitation, catching her weight as she slumped into his arms. She was lighter than she should have been, her breathing shallow and uneven. "Easy," he murmured, more to himself than to her. "I've got you." As he carried her inside, questions crashed through his mind. Who would do this? Why here, and why his cabin? He laid her near the fire, wrapped her in blankets, and checked her pulse. Weak, but steady. Relief washed over him, followed quickly by anger. This mountain had rules. You survived by respecting life. Whoever had done this had broken every one of them. The woman's eyes fluttered open for just a moment. She tried to speak. Then darkness took her again. Ethan looked at the closed cabin door, then at the burned words he'd torn down and placed on the table. Whatever had followed her up this mountain wasn't finished, and now neither was he. The fire crackled softly as Ethan knelt beside the woman, watching the steady rise and fall of her chest. He'd cleaned the dirt from her face with warm water, careful not to wake her. Beneath the grime, her features were delicate, almost fragile. Nothing like the cruelty that had been inflicted on her. She stirred again, this time more violently. "No, please," she gasped, her body jerking as if trying to escape invisible hands. Ethan steadied her shoulders. "You're safe," he said firmly, keeping his voice low and calm. "You're in my cabin. No one's here but me." Her eyes flew open. They were a startling blue, wide with panic. She tried to sit up, but pain stopped her. A sharp breath escaped her lips as she collapsed back onto the blankets. "Easy," Ethan said. "You've been through hell." She stared at him, chest heaving, clearly trying to decide whether he was real or another threat. Her gaze flicked around the room, the rough wooden walls, the fireplace, the old rifle mounted above the door. Finally, she looked back at him. "They followed me," she whispered. Ethan's muscles tensed. "Who?" She shook her head, tears welling. "I don't know their names, I only know what they called him." "Who's him?" Ethan asked. Her fingers curled into the blanket. "The man they thought I loved." Ethan's jaw tightened as the burned words on the plank flashed through his mind. "Apache Lover. That sign," he said carefully. "It was meant for you?" Her face crumpled, she nodded. "I tried to help someone, that's all. I didn't even know it would make them angry." Ethan stood and locked the cabin door, then checked the windows. The fog outside had thickened, swallowing the trees whole. Whoever had left her here knew the terrain, knew the isolation. That meant one thing. They could come back. He returned to her side. "What's your name?" "Claire," she said faintly. "Claire Monroe." "Claire," he repeated. "I'm Ethan, and no one's touching you again. Not while you're here." Her eyes searched his face as if looking for cracks in his promise. Whatever she saw must have been enough because her shoulders finally relaxed. Exhaustion took over, pulling her back into sleep. Ethan sat back in the chair, staring into the fire. A woman left hanging from his roof. A message burned like a threat, and a past that had followed her into the mountains. The silence outside no longer felt peaceful. It felt like it was waiting. He sat near the window with his rifle resting across his knees, eyes fixed on the tree line where fog and shadow blurred together. The mountains had taught him how to listen, not just with his ears, but with his instincts. And every instinct told him the danger wasn't over. At first light, he stepped outside. Fresh snow had fallen during the night, thin but revealing. Ethan moved slowly around the cabin, crouching near the porch. There were footprints, several sets, leading away from the cabin toward the lower ridge. Heavy boots. Purposeful. Not hunters. Not hikers. Men who wanted to disappear. His jaw tightened. Inside, Claire slept fitfully, her breathing uneven. Ethan checked on her again, replacing the cold cloth on her forehead. She stirred, eyes fluttering open. "You're still here," she murmured, as if afraid he might vanish. "I'm not going anywhere," he said. "But I need to know something. Did they say why they brought you here?" She swallowed, gathering strength. "They wanted to scare someone I protected." Ethan waited. "An Apache man," she continued quietly. "He helped me when my car broke down weeks ago. Just gave me food, directions. That's all. But they saw us talking. Decided it meant more." Ethan exhaled slowly. He'd lived long enough in these mountains to know old hatred didn't fade. It just waited. "They wanted to send a message," Claire said, her voice shaking. "They told me no one would dare help me up here." Ethan stood. They were wrong. He packed supplies quickly, food, rope, flares, and handed Claire a radio. "If anything moves near this cabin, you call me immediately. Do not open the door for anyone." "What are you going to do?" she asked. "I'm going to make sure they don't come back." Claire reached out, gripping his sleeve. "Please don't leave me alone." Ethan met her eyes. "You're not alone. This mountain's watched over me for years. Today it watches over you too." He stepped into the snow, following the tracks downhill, each step deliberate. He didn't know how many men there were, he didn't know how far this would go. But he knew one thing with absolute certainty. Whoever thought they could use his home as a warning had made a fatal mistake. The mountain had chosen a side. And so had he.